That's
A little
common.
bit.
Yeah, okay. So I'm going to share my screen really quick. I have a couple of promotional things to go through really quick. As always, we are recording this, as you probably just heard on Zoom there, for posterity. It'll be on our YouTube channel. We are also live broadcasting on YouTube as well, just so you're aware. And but if you want to ask questions, we're going to have a Q&A session at the very end of today's webinar. So if you have any questions for myself, James, or Max, please let us know in the Q&A section in Zoom there, and we'll answer those after today's live demo. And if you fill out that survey, you get a 10% discount for the content store, as always, stackable with other coupons. As a bonus for today's webinar, you also get 500 AI points, okay, for generating your own AI images. So thank you, everyone, for joining. You're going to get that coupon in the mail coming really soon here after this webinar. Um, yeah, so that's really about all I have to cover at the beginning here. We'll have the Q&A and we'll get to it. I'm going to share my screen really quick and then I'll hand it over to Max and James and they'll show you the magic. Let me just share my screen really quick. Oh, there we go. And let's get to the right tab. Couple of promotional things to go through. Of course, you probably already know this by being at this webinar, but on our website now, we have under AI services. If you want to learn all about AI Studio on your own time, you can click on AI Studio right here. So this is a really cool tool, like I mentioned. It does cost AI points to generate images, which is well worth it in so many cases. And Max and James will be showing you that a little bit later. You can browse the site on your own time. I just wanted to kind of show you where it is from the main page. All right, so a lot of cool things we're going to go through over the next three webinars. We're breaking it up into segments here just so we can not overload you with information all in one day. On top of that, we have, oop, it's not clicking for me. Click, 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 click. Weird. Um, my Google Chrome. Oh, Google Chrome just crashed. What do you know? Anyways, if you are a teacher or a professor, sorry, professor or a student, you can go up here on the main page to our Learn and go to Global Training Network. And from there, you can go to Educational Discount. You get a 60% discount on all of our software. So whether you're a teacher or a student, I strongly encourage you to sign up for this. Just go down to the page here and sign up for the 60% discount. Just show your student ID and stuff. And I can throw that into the chat window for everyone, just so everyone has it. Shabam. There we go. Okay, and to be honest, that's really all the promotional stuff I have. The only other thing I can say is check back in the content store weekly because we have deals that are coming up all the time, different deals on different content. You can always check out ActorCore at actorcore.reallusion.com or.reallusion.com. And this is where you get all of the good stuff that you can purchase individually, actors, motions, and props. Um, yeah, I feel kind of useless, honestly, in the beginning of this demo, just kind of showing you some promo stuff, while Max and James are going to be doing all the heavy lifting. But yeah, how's it going, guys? You guys ready to go?
Yeah.
Yeah, man, absolutely. Right on. Well, you know what? You can take over the screen sharing. I'm going to stop sharing my screen here and we can get to the live demo. And like I said, everyone, Q&A at the end of today's webinar. So yeah. Awesome. Thanks, Kyle. Max, go ahead and take it away.
All right, guys, welcome. So we got a lot of really kind of basic things to go through today and just kind of going through the land of AI Studio and what it's kind of become. And as we've seen it transition from beta, we got so many new powerful new tools and models to throw at different problems that you may run into and many of solutions that I think will help take your images to the next level and help you just really get up and generating really quickly. We're going to talk about quite a few different characters. Predominantly, we're going to work with Camilla today for our live demos, but a lot of really fun stuff that we're going to show you as well. So, one of the big features of what we want to talk about during today's webinar is character consistency and the power of the AI actor profiles inside of iClone 8 and Revolution AI Studio. And that is the fact that you have over 200 plus AI actor profiles that are already built directly into iClone 8. that you have access to that you can load up to immediately start telling stories with as they exist or by adapting their wardrobe to fit your story. It just makes things so easy to have all of this directly at your hands to be able to deliver young characters, old characters, lots of diversity in the range of characters that you can choose from. And I think we'll be able to show you a good bit of that kind of today. So starting out, I just want to show you a little hype reel to get you kind of excited about where we're going today and kind of some of the things we're going to make. So let me play that for you.
With iClone, we bring it to life. Every story starts tonight. AI magic, take the stage. Turn imagination into something great. Million ideas in my head tonight. Mood boards glowing in the neon light. Dreaming bigger than the world can see. Trying to turn imagination into reality. Stitches on the screen, magic in the frame. Every little spark got a different name. But something changed when the vision came alive. Now the story's finally starting to survive. Lights up.
All right, let's slow down for a second.
This isn't for everyone, and that's the point. Made for closers.
Okay, look at this. Yeah, you're getting the superstar combo. 2 all-beef patties stacked sky high with melted American cheese, tomato, and our world-famous sesame seed bun. You want fries with that?
Let's go. Okay, y'all, this burrito is insane. Loaded steak, grilled fajitas, and melty nacho cheese. Oh yeah, that's Taco Diablo.
All right. See if we can go to that next slide here. All right, James, this next slide's coming up for you here.
Yeah, and you guys are right. Camilla does have a lot of side hustles. You're fully on point, and that's kind of where we're coming from, because really preparing characters can happen with any avatar. And the reason that we're using Camilla is because the Real Illusion kind of family at large is certainly familiar with Camilla and with Kevin. Those are just the plain bases, but as you can see, that can be cast to be anything from a fast food worker all the way up through a pop star now. And the final render that we're getting out of these AI actors is certainly pretty crazy. And that really starts with just preparing that with kind of a minimal amount of images that are really needed for that. And really, all we're looking for with the 3D asset tool is 10 images, 5 head angles, 4 expressions, 4 body reference images. And this is going to be basically a 3D project, very much like what everybody's used to seeing with iClone. And it feels just like a regular iClone environment in that regard, because you're starting with your character design inside of Character Creator. And of course, that can be as simple as the plain clothed Camilla base, or that can be something that is more comprehensive and that's more serving your script and your IP. So custom character designs and bespoke looks are certainly on the table. You can see that there's lots of different multiple AI results that you can choose from, and this is very easy to kind of pick and choose through the styles of what you're looking for. And these are just some examples down at the bottom with photoreal, 2D illustration, 3D render, cartoon, or painted. But these can go all the way, to the far reaches of what the look dev is, like say Lego Camilla, for example. But the consistency is really what we're looking for. And so preparing those strong images on the front end will give you really good results. So this is one of the versions or castings for my AI Camilla for a short film that will feature in future webinars called Heist. And essentially, you get the idea. Camilla's gone bad. And it's a very tongue-in-cheek approach to the backstory of how Camilla and Kevin became the Real Illusion default avatars. So they may have been on the run or on the lam and escaping to the Far East to start a new life after they robbed some folks. So this is just taking that and adding, some differences to what that default Camilla base is. But obviously, for those of you familiar with Character Creator, it's a really versatile tool for hair, wardrobe, certainly props and makeup. And now it's easier than ever before to just jump over to Meshi and say, hey, I need a bag of money, or, I'm going to grab a pistol as an accessory out of the Real Illusion content library, like from ActorCore or anywhere that you can grab that. And certainly there's previs folders that are made specifically for this. So getting, a pistol in her hand or, maybe some other props available for her is very simple. The detail and the style and the makeup is obviously meant to accommodate the storyline, but we're baking all of this into essentially what's now called an I model. And where we last spoke in the AI render beta, we were, I think, dealing with 29 to 46 images. Now we're down to 14 that really will learn. And you can choose kind of what the variation of that style can be, obviously, in Character Creator, but you can lock that in pretty easily. And so we can showcase how simple that is with AI Studio, and also just how Character Creator can make this happen very quickly. For those of you that have already been familiar with this tool set and the Real Illusion ecosystem, obviously this is day one stuff. But for those of you that might be new or might be joining us, pulled in for how are we going to compose characters with AI and how do we even gain consistency for shot, this will definitely enlighten you in that process a little bit. So essentially, Max, do you want to give the share over to me and I can go ahead and show that process?
Yes, I think that's definitely the move here.
Okay. Stand by for that.
Oop, going ahead too far.
All
Just
good. We'll
finally get
get there
my
because we're going to be talking about kind of how that's built out in a minute, and we'll showcase that prompt afterwards.
okay.
All right, thank you. And let me just jump over into my screen share. And here we're in AI Studio, but obviously just inside of iClone or Character Creator, you start with that default image, or that default project is simply empty and only has that background image in it. We're just going to go ahead and take good old clothed Camilla, just so you can see what that original character base starts like. This can be a partially nude base and obviously one without hair, but we're going to go ahead and choose one that already is clothed head to toe, that has a shirt, shorts, and shoes already applied to that model. Now, obviously, this comes from our template and it just comes straight out of the library. So this is a default asset. By quickly adding a lot of clothes and some other sort of example pieces of content, we're going to change that design up very quickly. So I'll allow her to go ahead and load the default, and then I'm going to switch over to my custom tab to load the other content for you. So stand by for that. Here we go. And as those shaders load, you can see this is kind of what that real-time character base is going to load with. And obviously those are PBR shaders. If we use hotkey J, we can move to the face of our character, and we can see that this is kind of that starting point. Now, can we sculpt? Can we morph? Can we do lots of things from there? Certainly. But we're just going to go ahead and change out the whole character design. I'm use hotkey F to go to the front of my character here. And I'm also going to refine my search and just go directly into my actors that I've already got saved. And you see we've got lots of different designs that this tool is capable of, and certainly you can bring those in as well from other content libraries should we want to. But we can look inside of our projects and inside of our actors and inside of our character folder, we've got a really comprehensive kind of list. And here I've got lots of the characters that you'll see in some of our upcoming films. And I can change out that entire character design with just drag and drop. And so now we're going to go from mild mannered base Camilla to our bank robber gesture Camilla. Obviously, we can spend a lot of time in this tool. Character creator is very deep. It's a very robust feature set from everything from headshot all the way through to a variety of different virtual wardrobe and accessories to choose from. And certainly any OBJ or FBX can be brought in. So now we've changed our look and our character style and our intent for our character with Camilla. And I'm going to show you how easy it is to just jump back over to iClone. And we're going to jump into AI Studio. And you can see I've got Professor Jurgen von Kirk here. We'll talk to him later. But right now, we really just want to create an AI actor. And when we go into AI Studio and we go into the Create Actor icon here at the bottom, it's very simple for you to start from 3D. And you can see that's our first button here. And if I click that, icon's going to open up that default project. And this is simple because all I need to do now is double click on my character, and that's going to make that an active object in my scene. The bounding box does appear, but we're pretty tight in on our camera right here, so we can't really see that. But I assure you, if we go to our scene tab, you can see that our default CCE3 base is selected, and that's highlighted. And that's important because what we want to do now is we want to just tab right back over to Character Creator. And this is one of my favorite buttons. My students know it. My clients know it. It's just good old send to iClone. It's our fourth icon up here on the top, right under the text navigation. And I literally can take that entire character base with all accessories, all wardrobe, even our custom prop mask on her face to hide her identity. And we're just going to send that directly over. And the beautiful part about these two tools is iClone is the stage, and if you're thinking of iClone as the stage, well, then Character Creator is central casting. And we're just round tripping. And Character Creator, fun fact, actually used to be part of iClone and got too big, too strong, too powerful, and had to become its own standalone tool. Now, we can go ahead and just update that character. And the beautiful part about this is these cameras are already set up inside of iClone for us, that it's going to generate all of these head turns and everything that we need in all these preset camera angles. But we don't even have to think about that because creating an eye actor is easy. And once we've decided on the look and the feel of that character, we just need to come right up here. And in that AI Studio portion of iconography at the top of iClone, you'll find that that third icon is associated with Create AI Actor. Reallusion really couldn't have made it easier because all I need to do is click that. And now what's going to happen is we're going back to AI Studio because it's automatically rendering those 14 needed images that we were talking about. And what we're able to do there doesn't just stop with sending that over, but now we're able to start to really leverage the AI in AI Studio. And the beautiful part about that is we can start to look at styles and other things to now take our character design from Character Creator and apply that, but not just to that default image or to that one image. And you can see here, as Professor Jurgen von Kirk looks on for Weird Wild Science, we've got all of those images automatically, okay? And that's the angles that are needed. And then also, that's the expressions even. So even if she's wearing a mask or something like that, you'll see that that's not affecting that now, but it will shortly when we apply that AI sort of overlay. Also, you'll notice the composition of the body angles, which is kind of nice because it's just focusing on the wardrobe and it's purposely meant to cut off at the head. So that's nice. But here's our reference image. And this is also a place where we're going to get an AI result in our second sort of thumbnail window here. And render style is the next thing. And then you'll see our little Bob Ross painter's palette icon, but that's styles. And if Max knows one thing about me, I have no style, but that's okay. And that's because basically here we can go select things like American Toon or, 2D, 3D or absurd comedy style or oil painting. But we want to go photo real. And really, this is where your IP starts to kind of be important because you are now going to start utilizing AI to change the look of that 3D AI character. So we're getting rid of that CG look and trying to get more close to something that's different in our style. And photorealistic is always a hard one for animators and modelers and texture artists and students and professionals alike. And we've all strived for that photorealism. And now you can see that achieving ugly is not as hard as it used to be anymore. And photoreal is now simply a prompt. You can also double click on that, or you can scroll over it and just see what that prompt actually is. But before we get into that, basically what I like to do is go ahead and make sure that I've got that reference image selected in my thumbnail. And then I'm going to use the render selected view. And by clicking on that, what's going to happen is it's going to start to build a variety of different potential styles or potential applications of that photorealistic prompt that's now been placed in the render style. We can elaborate on that, but as you'll notice here below, you have actor settings for actor name and appearance prompt, and we'll talk more about that later. For the sake of not having to go through a lot of that, I'll bring up a pre-cooked eye model or AI actor, if you will, that we've already done, so you can kind of see what that prompt structure is. And how we arrived at the one that's used for the AI short film Heist. This is actually two different versions of an eye model or an AI actor because we literally have her take off her makeup later on. And so you can see it's starting to treat that mask a little bit more photoreal. It's trying to get, a little bit better hair results and things like that. And so we can do this as many times as we want. We could add different styles should we want to. And if I do this one more time, I'm just going to do it a second time to get a second option. So you can see here that in our AI result thumbnail, you have these options available to you and ready to choose from. So as that's cooking, I'm going to go back over into my history. And that's a cool thing about AI Studio is you have a history tab here at the top where you can choose everything that you've generated, images, videos, audio, or certainly like what we're talking about today, actors. So I can literally filter that while I've got other things that might be processing on the front end. And you'll see some of my AI actors that are used in Heist. So I've got my versions of both Kevin and Camilla that don't have their makeup on. I've got my two goons or bad guys, and then also I've got Kevin and Camilla with their makeup on or their mask. And as you can see here, in the time it took me to kind of explain that to you, we've got a couple of options, a couple of looks that we can see here that we've generated. Once we like one of those, we can actually tell it to render all of those 14 angles. So once we click on the render all views button, you can see two different point values there. But that's going to generate that art style once you're happy across all of these images and apply those instantly. It's pretty nice, pretty easy to manage. However, after you do that, you can always rework or find those files. If you select Find File, that's going to allow you to actually access that eye model, and you can see we have burglar gesture here that we've named. And then also I'm going to go ahead and select Rework, so you can actually see that it will bring back up the prompt that I've chosen to actually save my eye model. And that's going to populate this appearance prompt field and also our actor name. And there you go. We'll take another look at that, and also just creating that actor is as simply as then pressing the button. So I'm going to go ahead and stop my share here because, as you can see, once you have those in a library, that's able to then be applied to a variety of different styles, whether that's image generation, video generation, and Max is going to talk a little bit more about that after we go through the next slide. But I'm going to stop this share and give the slide deck back to him and just talk about that appearance prompt a little bit more. So Max, if you want to bring that back up.
Whoop, wrong one. Got my chat GPT up too early.
Who doesn't?
It was coming up
And
anyways.
so as you can see here, these are the style, the variations, and here's my appearance prompt. Yeah, going forward, there we go. And it's just a blonde female in a cheap plastic clown mask that has a red dot on her nose, black and red eye makeup around the eye holes with red freckle dots on the cheeks, thin black eyebrows, and elongated black and red lipstick grin in a smile. She has sandy blonde hair, and she is wearing a black leather jumpsuit with a low zipper exposing her chest slightly. She has a duffel bag with money over her shoulder with loose bills protruding from the zipper pocket. Her actor name is Burglar Jester. And that's important because once we start to actually apply these to scenes, then we're going to need to recall the name and say which actor is actually in which portion of the image. And that's a very strong feature inside of AI Studio as well. But we can reference, render, and name these characters and then recall those. And go ahead. No, that was a perfect transition, Max. For application into the scenes. And so you can see here there's a few different shots from Heist where we have car interiors of Camilla as the bank robber. We have driving scenes where we've got kind of that GoPro sort of dash cam view. There's certainly some action and some car chases and some other things where we really want to be able to see her in her full makeup. And like I said, spoiler alert, as they escape, she takes this makeup off and that reveals that she's actually Camilla. So it's a little tongue in cheek part of the story. But for consistency, this is important, right? Because we can't even get inside jokes around our characters if we don't have that consistency shot for shot. And AI actor application and creation is a pretty simple process. And going from there into what you can do is, kind of the sky's the limit with your points and how you spend them. So Max, I'm going to go ahead and kick it back over to you for the next live demo.
All right, guys. So for this one, we're going to get into a live demo. We're basically just going to talk about character identity, trying to keep things consistent across multiple shots, some tips and tricks that you can do to hopefully save images if you have, some minor artifacting or something wrong that you want to change. Like it wasn't so long ago that we were in a world where when something was wrong with that image, we either had to go back into Photoshop or do something else to try to fix it. But now it's just so much easier. And iClone AI Studio is making that a very simple process for you guys. So I'm going to show you one more video before we get into it. This is our good friend, animated friend Marco, teaching us about the basic steps of what we need to do to make images.
Whoa, whoa! First image, I got you!
Follow me!
First things first, pick your actor up to 4. You decide who you are. Flux Max, Nano Banana, GPT, Image 2. Pick your style, pick your vibe, build a world that's totally you. Need ideas, no stress. Inspiration's got your back. Choose your camera, light it up, now hit generate, boom! And just like that, you made your first image. Told you it was easy.
So a little fun Marco in there for us. Let me go back to the slideshow. So today we're predominantly going to work with Camilla, and I've worked up a few different prompt samples, and I'm going to talk to you about kind of how I got there and how I create them. And it's really probably way simpler than you could ever imagine. Anyone could do this. It's not hard at all. So we're going to focus on lifestyle, fitness, fashion, and commercial renders today. So we're going to do an example of each one with images. We'll go through, we'll play with GPT Image 2, we'll generate some things with Flux Max, we'll go through with Nano Banana, and we'll really kind of just dive into what is possible. So before we get into my prompts, the first example that we're going to start with is fashion. And so I already have my prompt formulated. And one thing I want to talk about this is just kind of that structure. Even though I have an actor profile, and that's going to be so important to what I create, I still like to describe what my actor looks like. I think that's important. I think it does help. I like to also, if I want to change the outfit, the actor profiles are going to have their default outfit baked into them. So it's very easy to change and something that you can, really have a high level of control over even while using existing actor profiles. But if you want Camilla to not show up in a pink shirt and blue jean shorts and white shoes, then you kind of gotta state it, or that's going to happen pretty much every time. Also, you want to describe your scene, your lighting, especially I like to get into the cameras and talk about the camera shot and what type of lens I want to use. Like really just think like a cinematographer and like somebody that's been, designing in 3D and if you're not, you're brand new to these things, then just think about, like start out with what kind of looks good and dissecting that. And you can even take an image that you see, like that you find off the internet, drop it in ChatGPT and easily ask it to tell you like what makes that image strong and what helps you like visual, why you probably are visually interested in that. And it's really helpful for that sort of thing. So let me switch over to iClone and let's get into AI Studio. So I'm going to come to the top and I'm just going to pull up AI Studio. Of course, you have plenty of templates that are a great place to start, but I'm going to dive directly into image gen. So here inside of image gen, we've got quite a few options. We've got create and edit mode up at the top. We're predominantly going to start out with create unless we're trying to edit something or create something new, anything like that. So right below that, you're going to have the ability to select your models, and you have image GPT Image 2, Flux Max 2, and also Nano Banana Pro, which all produce pretty great results. Currently, my favorite is probably GPT Image 2, and I still like sometimes a lot of the results I'm getting out of Flux Max. And then every now and then Nano Banana will surprise me, but GPT Image 2 is just so good now that it's hard to not use it. But since they're here, and images is really like the cheapest place where you can generate, and it's really the most important thing because if you have flaws in your image, then those flaws are going to come out in your video. So you might as well blow the credits where they're a little bit cheaper here on your image workflow and make sure that that first starting image is exactly what you want before you even try to generate video with it. I just think it's definitely a great way to work. So, actors. This is where we have access to all of our actor profiles, and there are so many. You can use up to 4 at once, no problem at all. There's children, there's old people. Like I said, lots of diversity. There's people that are more like professional outfits, people that look like they could be like bike riders or skateboarders or something. We even got some airline pilots in here. So many different choices. Camilla is all the way down here at the bottom. And so that's great. We get to scroll through everyone. I've got a piece coming for you guys in a couple of weeks on our webinar where I actually have created a little animated show called Sidewalk Syndicate that uses these 4 boys, Liam, Mason, Nolan, and Oliver. So I'm looking forward to showing you that in a couple of weeks. Also have stylized actors that you have access to as well, but I'm just going to come in and lock in Camilla. And so you can always make her like if you come and hover over this, it'll pull it up big so you can kind of see what Camilla is supposed to look like. You have an appearance prompt that's just going to be kind of a general description of Camilla. I've clicked on her quite a few times, so it's added her name a lot. One thing that's really nice about the new prompt window is that you actually can expand it, so you can pull this down and read your prompt a little bit easier if you have a large screen. You have the ability to change ratios down here. So you can basically do those nice 9:16 tall renders that are maybe nice for like Instagram or verticals. And then you can also go with kind of 16:9 or even like ultra wide 21:9. So it's really just whatever you want. Depending on which model you're working with, we'll start out with GPT Image 2, and then I'll just go through all 3 of them. You have a wide range of resolution options as well, going all the way up to 2752 by 1536. If you're working with Cdance, you can run these higher resolutions. If you're working with video models like Kling, when we get to talking about that in a minute, you may want to stick more towards these 1920 by 1088 renders because if you go over the size, you'll end up having to kind of downsize those so that you can work with Kling. But if you're in Cdance, feel free to send the super large, high resolution images with no worries at all. So I'll just start out with 1920 by 1088. I think that's really kind of the sweet spot. You have the ability to come in here if you just have like no idea what you want to make today, you're just trying to get creative with it. You have lots of inspirations that you can click on that will load up basically prompts to kind of help getting you going. If you want to make an elegant sushi render or gourmet burger, these are right here available to you. You also have like camera techniques if you're struggling with cameras or you don't know a lot about cameras. This can really kind of help guide you there. Also lighting. This is super helpful. Sometimes I have a really great idea and I just kind of can't make up my mind what I want, whether I want it to be like a night city vibe or golden hour and or like cold and moody. So, there's lots of things here that can really help you to get creative if you're starting to get in a little bit of brain lock and you just need to get activated. Also style prompts, you can pull these in if you're trying to go for a particular type of style. This box right here will actually allow you to upload an image and it will generate a prompt based on the image that you upload to it. So that's an extremely helpful feature too. And this will just refresh everything so it's nice and clean. So in our particular case, we're going to start out with our very, very first render here. And let me grab it off my other screen. We're going to start out with our fashion, luxury, high editorial, high-end brand sample. And the way I created these, to be straight up honest with you, like the way I created them is I kind of take a picture of Camilla, like I have my LLM so it knows what character I'm working with, and then I will also, just kind of give it a rough idea about what I want and ask it to refine it for the image model that I want to use, whether that's, C Dance or Nano Banana or GPT image or whatever. It's totally capable of doing that. I just like, I don't want to sit here and type all this stuff all day long. Like it's so much easier for me to just type my core essential ideas and then have it refine it. And so I think that's just kind of the world we're in now is you have to learn how to work quicker, but you still want to stay true to your idea, but sometimes it needs a little bit of refining. It's making me absolutely terrible at typing, at being able to spell when I type. Like I just leave so many typos. It's bad habits being created by AI for me. Um, so let's make an image. Let's see what happens. So we'll fire off our first image, and this should basically be our fashion test here. She should be standing on a luxury rooftop overlooking a glowing downtown skyline. At blue hour, she's going to be wearing oversized ivory tailored blazer over a fitted black ribbon crop top, high-waisted cream pleated trousers, layered gold necklace, a lot of stuff going on there. You can render more than one image at a time. So let's go on ahead and fire one off with Flux and also Nano Banana, and we'll see what we get across the board with our image renders here. And then we'll do a couple more tests. We'll give them each one shot apiece, and like that, you don't have to take the first render you get. If you get something in your render that you don't like or you're not happy with it, I would highly recommend like revisiting your prompt or even sharing your image with your LLM and saying, this is what I don't like about it. Let's refine this prompt a little bit so that I can get a result that looks more like this. Um, and so you're going to get a range based on the different models and what they're capable of doing. I really, really am a big fan of what Image GPT-2 is doing. I think it's very nice. That's a really pretty render. I like the soft depth of field off into the city. This is our second one. I think we maybe had she looks maybe a little bit older and it's full body here instead of that tighter frame pose. So we might would have to be a little bit more strict with Flux Max in terms of our prompt directions to tighten that up. If Flux Max had, the look that we really wanted to create. And this is what we got out of Nano Banana. So I think they're all pretty cool, convincing renders. Maybe we give Flux Max one more attempt while we get ready to load up another prompt so that we can kind of flow through these and talk about a few different images here. It's not a terrible idea with soccer. We can create something when we get to we can make one a soccer prompt. I don't have a problem with that. Let me pull up my chat GPT here. And I'm just going to give it a reference of this. I don't mind doing one on the fly.
Fun fact: Max is about 3 blocks from Mercedes-Benz Stadium for World Cup right now.
Yeah, right down the street. So yeah, let's make a World Cup one. That seems appropriate. So we'll get a nice new prompt for this and we'll do our next one as World Cup themed. I have no problem with that. Ideally, if I wasn't doing this in a webinar, I'd sit here and read through every bit of it and make sure I was happy with what it had. Or, if sometimes when you're in a hurry, you just want to see what kind of your results are looking like. And that's how powerful AI is now. You can just kind of throw your ideas at the wall, get them in a good structure and send it. And you're probably going to be pretty happy with your results. So let's send that GPT image 2 first, see what we get. We'll give it that full top resolution for this one. We might make this one into the video later. That might be fun. I like this idea. It was a fun one. So we'll send it to Flux as well. Get that one 1920 by 1088. And Nano Banana. Let's let Nano Banana do it as well. And it can do a pretty large image too, 2752 by 1536. And obviously, if you render larger images, you render longer videos, it's probably going to burn more credits. Like that's just kind of the way AI works. But I can put entire videos together, like 2 3 minute videos together in an afternoon, like from concept to storyboarding to casting it with my AI characters to final edit. And it's just wild the speed that you can create at, whether it's a simple presentation or whether you're trying to you know, just get in there and play and see what kind of stuff you want to make. It's very, very quick and efficient. So there we go. We got the FIFA World Cup in the background. She looks kind of old in that one. Her hair, Nano Banana, kind of makes her hair want to be a little bit lighter. But that's probably because I have this platinum blonde in the hair right here. If I took that platinum blonde out of the hair, that would probably correct that, and we might not get. Let's give it another. Let's just see if that alone is enough to make her stop having that platinum hair. Um, and then we'll look at our other images. I think this one is still my favorite. Like GPT image 2 just is just awesome. I think it's got really, really nice results. Um, but that's really fun. Let's see another series that I have here for you guys. We'll do the lifestyle ones next.
Hey Max, quick question while we were waiting. I was wondering how you did those opera type voices, musical type voices on the videos.
Oh yeah, so the musical voices, I'm gonna show that in a later webinar as well. That's all coming straight from Suno, and it's being combined with. So I'm running on a version that's just a little bit ahead of you guys right now. So I have the ability to come in and kind of add in additional AI elements here. So to be able to run Cdance and add images and videos and audio and even iModels here directly. And you can do some really, really crazy stuff like ginning straight from storyboards and plugging in audio from Suno and like even just identifying who your characters' voices are. And it's really cool. We'll do some of that, a little bit of that maybe when we get over there in a minute. I'll try not to keep us in image land for too long. See how we're doing on time. Okay. Um, so let's get the lifestyle render out there. We'll do that. We'll do that really quick, and that might be the three that we do, and then we'll choose one of these guys, and we'll animate it, and we'll kind of bring it to life, and I'll show you how quickly you can do that as well. Because I would also really like to touch on some of the image editing abilities that we have here. So
I
I'm
think
just
we
gonna.
need to go hang out on that balcony. That looks fun over there.
I know that balcony looks really nice. I wonder if we can find that balcony.
Yeah,
It's
Mercedes-Benz
probably
looks
the
pretty good.
it's probably that hotel over that really fancy hotel over there that they built that has the bar on the roof. I can't remember the name of it. Um,
So
but it
you're
is it.
jumping forward to fitness or lifestyle next here. I know we're
This is lifestyle. This is lifestyle. So maybe we just do a batch of them. We'll do one lifestyle. We'll just stick with GPT image 2 since it's doing such a great job for us. And we'll go on ahead and throw up the fitness prompt as well. And then we will also do the final one, which is just a commercial style. And so, and then from there, we'll pick one and we'll talk about we'll go over to image edit features and talk about that for a second as well. Because that's really my favorite place to live. Like once I've established my initial result of what I want to create, when I want to do multiple shots, like I have the same abilities that I have here directly over in edit, but I also have the ability to reference my image. So we'll take one of these over there real quick. So let's say we want to reference this image that we just created here, and we love it, but we want Kevin to be in there too, right? So maybe we want to add another actor. So we come down to the bottom and we find our good friend Kevin, and we say, you know, I'll just add it myself. I'll do this one the manual way. Add Kevin to the image, checking out the car. All right, that's what, or we could even say he was working on it. It really doesn't matter, but we'll just say he's checking out the car. How about that? That's simple enough.
Just don't have him pump gas; it's too expensive.
Oh, and so while that's going, there's our first fitness render. That one's a little okay. It's a little sweaty, but I do, the lighting's really nice. And that's what I'm saying. You're not gonna get the exactly what you want out of every single image. Like this takes iteration. It's the same process as when you were creating things traditionally. You got to look at it. You got to define the issues, the things you like about it, the things you don't like about it, and realize that, when you're using a tool that's painting it with 100% of your image every single time, there's going to be some minor flaws that you have to occasionally dial in. Um, and so that's really fun. We've got Camilla actually in her. They're both in their original outfits, so that's really fun too. So now we can come back here and clear these out, and just to do something else here, I can drag this back in, and I can say change their wardrobe so it looks like they are in the 1970s and on a long road trip with a bunch of hippies. How about that? And then after this, I'll show you how I would try to make like a second shot to it. Like so, if I want to make a second shot to something, it's very useful for getting your first frame, last frame, or even trying to generate the next frame and keep things consistent. And even if you get another image over with like your create, and you love it, but the background's wrong. Like let's say you've got the wrong kitchen in your second image. You can take both of your images, bring them right in here into custom and say, I need the kitchen from image 2 in image 1. And it'll totally help you do things like that. So you're not just throwing out generation. So like this is getting really fun, right? We got some super hippies out here on Route 66 going on vacation. Um, and so now we're going to say, I need a second image close up of a highway patrol officer giving them a hard time. How about that? That sounds good to me. um, And then if you don't like the framing, like it'll probably keep somewhat similar framing, and then that's whenever I'll be like, I need this to be a totally different framing, or this needs to be a medium shot, where you can even describe the camera action you're trying to achieve, and image edit's smart enough that it can help you do that. Whoa. Uh-oh, I might have crashed. It's okay, stuff happens. We'll give it just a second there, see if it's going to come back. I don't think it is. Give me 1 second here, guys.
We can always talk about the commercial products too, and how you approached basically the the commercial production aspect of it and the AI actors that we used for that, because I think there's some really awesome examples that you got there.
Oh yeah, it just I had a little freeze. Something's a little unhappy with me. Let me see if I can get it to drop real quick, and I'll get it right back up. We'll pick up right where we left off.
Sure. And essentially, if you want to switch the share over to me, we can kind of analyze that prompt breakdown once again.
Oh yeah,
You
that's a
actually have that up.
I do. Sorry, let me pull the right folder up and get this going. It'll come right back up. No worries, guys. It happens every now and then. I pushed it a little too hard. I was asking for like all the images at once. And like I said, I am running on a version that's just a little bit ahead of you guys right now, so it might have a few little things being worked out.
Look at Mr.
But
Fancy future AI studio here.
oh, it's so great. Like it like really is going to unlock it to the next level for you guys once you have the ability to add in those elements to your videos.
Yeah, we've just launched this, and so this is going to be like it's only going to get better from here.
I mean, it's awesome. I stay in here for hours and just generate and generate and generate and tell new stories and just have a lot of fun. And like I said, we're right back up. Don't worry, guys. We'll be right back in the action as soon as I get rid of all of my warnings.
And again, for this webinar, we're just talking about kind of AI actors and focused on that. For our other webinars, we'll be going in more depth into image to image and image to video workflows. So stay tuned for that.
Oh, give it just a second.
Yeah, and just as a you know aside here, anyone who's interested, we have a 3D competition going on right now. Lots of cool prizes, thousands of dollars to be won, laptops, memberships to all sorts of different software. Check that out. I'll probably put that in the chat just so you guys know. I know maybe some of you aren't aware we have this 3D competition going on, but yeah, I just wanted to mention that. Good thing to get involved in. Everyone's got a chance.
Oh, my computer's not liking me right now. It's okay. I don't know if for some reason my history was not showing up so give me 1 second here. All right. But yeah, while we're waiting on that to fire up, like getting a good prompt is not hard these days. If you have any type of idea or anything that inspires you, use those elements to help drive the things that you want to create. And if you have those old stories that have been sitting around or old 3D scenes that you've built with iClone, it's a great time to pull them back out and just see like how fantastic they can look with a little AI supercharging.
Max, go ahead and bring your prompt breakdown to the front there. So it's not in front of the logo's not in front of that. Then let's
We
go
got
ahead.
the 3D character contest in the chat link for you guys if you want to check it out as well.
I won't try to click through everything at the speed of lightning. I'll be patient. Let it open up. Okay, come on. I have a lot of licenses on my other account. AI Studio. Here we are, my friend. Okay, now my history's back. All right, we're back in business, guys. We are back in business. Um, we'll try one more thing with this with the image edit real quick, and then I'll leave it alone. Need a last frame image where a highway patrol officer pulls up behind them to check on the meddling kids. You don't even have to know how to spell. You just have to get close. It's all right. It'll understand what you want. Because it's that good. Like that's where we are these days, guys. It's pretty awesome. And hopefully it will go. Oh no. Hmm.
You may need to open up the hub version
Yeah, that's what I'm
just
gonna
for
have
it
to
to be a
do.
little bit more stable for you. But let's talk a
Yeah,
little bit about the prompt breakdown because we're at 9:55 right now, and we'll push forward with it, and you can get that other version opened up. That'll probably allow your history to be a little bit more stabilized.
gotcha.
Great.
So pretty much just a few different ranges of prompts. Um, See if that pops back up for us here. Okay, it's opening.
Yeah, I find that this one is a little bit more stable just for that kind of what you're trying to pull off right now. It's just probably a better solution for you at the moment. Um,
Yeah, I think it's something to do with the streaming. I'm not really sure. It's okay. Um, it's gonna be back up though. I bragged about the elements too much, and it was like, no, you can't show that yet. It's okay. This is good. This will be. We'll pick up right back up. This will have my same exact history, so it won't be any big deal. I don't know. I'm having an issue. So for some reason, I'm not getting any history, but that's okay. Let me just make something real quick, and we'll go on and we'll go straight into video with this.
yeah.
So if you want to make if you want to make a video, guys, let's see if we can get things to roll for me here. Even though my history is not behaving correctly, I'll try to run one more image, see what we can get. We'll just run the fitness commercial or the. I really want to run the lifestyle commercial. Let's do that. So we'll try that one more time. Yeah, something weird. I think it was when it crashed. I might need a reset for it to see all of my history again. But looks like we're back in action and we're generating an image. Let's get one with GPT image 2 just so we got an option, and then we'll make a video out of this. So basically, image to video is, it's going to be a pretty straightforward process for us here, guys. Very easy to use. I think our GPT image is going to be the one that I'm going to want to use here. Come on.
Why don't we look into some of the Q&A questions? I think since we're kind of closing in on the hour here, we'll try and get because we already have 32 questions, 33 questions now lined up in our
Okay.
Q&A. People are very inquisitive.
All right,
Um,
we're gonna send this one
yeah, go for it. Yeah.
basically no matter what, we're just gonna make a video with this image. So let's say I loved this. I'm just gonna say I need a Sea Dance 2.0 prompt for a road trip gas station commercial. We'll just get something in there and fun, friendly. We'll just get something out there so we got a prompt and it'll do a pretty good job. So like you can literally just feed it any type of idea you have and get a really good prompt that'll work for you. And we'll go over here to video. So on the video side, you have the option to run LTX 2.3. You've got Google VO 3.1, Kling 3.0, and CDance 2.0. Since we don't have a lot of time, we'll just run CDance. You won't have elements here yet, so we can't add those additional audio features yet, but that will be coming very, very soon for you guys. So hoping to show that off for you today. This is going to be, you can generate up to 15 seconds with audio, so that's what we'll do right now. And we'll send that video. and it's going to generate that with Cdance 2.0 right now. You can use first frame or last frame, and in some cases, once you have the element feature, you don't even actually have to define a start frame or a last frame. You can use like whole storyboards or, other video references or just like individual references of characters and objects and scene elements and generate videos out of that too, which brings like a whole nother world of craziness to what you're creating. So, pretty wild stuff actually.
Hmm.
So it'll take it just a second to render that video.
I
Let's
just
see
see
if I
Thomas commenting here that he really wished he had this sooner because he created character sheets and Loris from CC characters and other apps for 3 weeks for 17
can.
characters. So that's yeah, I
Yeah, it's
feel for
certainly
you, Thomas.
moving
That's going to take a
fast.
lot of time, and that's the thing with AI these days. It's advancing so fast. There's almost new developments every week. Something that may have been taking you a week to do like a month ago. Now it just takes like what, 30 minutes, not even.
Yeah, just this week in advancements and using elements, Max found some really interesting sort of abilities that we've actually shared here with what you saw in that Nike commercial. The advancements now are almost at the weekly point, and yeah, I feel your pain on creating those Lauras the old-fashioned way now, all those ancient 6 months ago. But it's definitely an actor pool to choose from that is a lot easier of a process, and also creating those are super simple. So we've found lots of application and use case, and yeah, it's kind of hard to argue with a couple of hundred ready to go.
You can also go straight from 3D scene too, guys. Like we've really been trying to keep this on the easy side, like super ground level. But like there's nothing stopping me from, coming over here and going to edit 3D scene,
Future
um,
webinars, Max. Future webinars.
future webinars.
Future webinars.
I may have pushed it too much. I've
You
asked
might
too
just
much of
froze.
it.
It might just froze your process there.
I'm asking it to do too much, my poor computer. Um,
Yeah,
No, I've
we're
used the edit 3D scene thing a lot. That's one of the things I'm the most interested in for kind of consistency.
yeah.
Consistency of your environment. And it works really well. Like I highly encourage, and I think we're going to have this in the future webinars. Yeah, do the 3D scenes.
Yes, most definitely. I literally would have been able to get an example up for you really quickly. Like even just throwing in like a pure mannequin straight out of Actor Core and using that to guide with your actor profile included. It'll unlock things for you. Like, oh, did we not crash? It might.
you pulled it out.
It's psyching you out.
It looks like you're processing a stall, though.
Yeah, I think you might be hooped on the processing. Anyways, well, why don't we answer some questions then, since we're into the next hour then.
Yeah, it sounds
Thank
great.
you everyone for all your questions. And the first one is from Thomas, who spent all that time on the Loris. Oh, so he just said, I've created about 11 characters already, but I got trouble in most of them by some pictures are not created right, not photorealistic output. Does that harm the character? I don't know if it harms the character. Um, I mean, I need a bit more context on that, Thomas.
Are
Yeah,
you
just
talking
just
about using photoreal photographs to create the character
well,
and
he just says not photorealistic output, but there's all those preset templates you can use to generate photorealistic output, and maybe just try a different model.
Mhm.
Some of them, like we saw, are better than others. Um, personally, like Max was saying earlier, the Chat GPT 2 one was really good. I haven't tried that too much myself, but yeah, it did seem to be a little bit above and beyond the others in my experience. What about you, James?
Yeah, there's definitely certain models that do humans better, do photorealism better, and essentially, um, Kai's right. Also adding that style in, where you're getting kind of prompts that are enhanced, and helping push that and inject that style more into your results. So definitely try that.
Yeah, I mean, it's nice if you have unlimited tokens, like a lot of us do. But I think we should probably have a tutorial or a webinar or something at least on focused on the most efficient use of your tokens. I think a lot of people would appreciate that
For
because
sure.
it's one of those things. It's here to stay regardless. I think for most AI services, you're getting charged tokens for generation of stuff. It's just the sustainable business model that that is taken. But we'll go to the next question, anyways, from Paul. I think maybe Max has restarted his computer or something. But
Yeah, he crashed, but he's coming back.
all right. Paul says, when are the tokens taken and how much? Good question, Paul. It goes down to the very basics. The tokens are taken or spent when you generate your images. So you'll see um, on the panel there, you'll see a number of tokens. For generating a new image, I believe it's 30 tokens, which is the equivalent of 30 cents US. So, it's not going to break the bank as long as you're not going crazy. I know some people would be like, generate, 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 generate. And and then $20 later, they're like, I got like 500 pictures. And then I think what is it? The regeneration or the modification is 17 tokens. Is that right, James? You probably
That's
know.
correct.
Yeah.
That is correct, and essentially, it's also commensurate to what you're trying to accomplish. So, actors are pretty cheap. Just regular images are pretty cheap. If you do want to do a 15-second, sea dance clip with audio, those are going to get more expensive. But you certainly can utilize first and last, or just first image video generation at very, very low cost if you're using things like the talking avatar tools, which you saw a little bit of a glimpse of Professor Von Kirk, and Professor Jurgen is basically an AI actor application from one of the default AI actors named Victor that has been prompted to become a mad scientist. So those clips can run 30 seconds and only cost you a couple hundred points.
Yeah, it's important to note that those profiles are the key to making your generations consistent. So when you have that profile, it's, you know, Chat GPT or whatever you're using, it's referring to those profiles consistently to, generate consistent results. And that's really a key thing to note. Generate your profile if you have a character in any sort of, commercial or film production that you want to use. Create a profile for your character is going to be one of the first things that you want to do. Make it very detailed with a very detailed prompt, and you should that'll improve your results for sure. We'll go to the next question anyways here from Stuart Mountjoy. Can you specify by prompt the actors and environments and costumes, etc.? Yes, Stuart, you can. There's actually functionality within AI Studio that you can actually just click on the profile, or you can set these presets, and they will come up as like little, almost like buttons in your prompt, um, and they will contain all the information for that profile. So yeah, very good question, Stuart. I'm not sure did if Max showed that, but
Yeah, you can very easily change that out, and that's part of the different image options that you have between swap or remove or custom. Custom allows you to combine multiple images as an option, and certainly, swapping is definitely something where it's going to go ahead and give you a little bit of a pre sort of cursor to your prompt saying image one wants to replace or swap blank from image two. So you really kind of get a keep it simple method of being able to start to speak that vernacular to that prompt to get the result that you want.
Yeah, I'm kind of mostly referring to like the actual like you can refer to your character's profile in your prompt.
Mhm.
So you can create a profile and it'll be saved as like, Camilla or, Joey Jojo Shabadoo or something like that. And you can
Sure.
just just input that into your prompt and it'll show up and it'll retain all that information of the profile and put into your prompt as opposed to writing like, two additional paragraphs. Um,
Absolutely. And
yeah,
don't forget, you also have some really awesome tools in being able to just feed that an image of a character and have it give you your prompt. So
right.
there's also that option, which is kind of nice.
Man, I think we're all going to become like the movie Wall-E, where all those people are just in like those moving chairs. We're just going to be like dictating our desires to
Not the
AI.
first time I've heard that at all.
All right. Next question from Rainier. I had my thing open here. Sorry. Uh, AI Studio is a fantastic tool. Thanks. I'm experiencing persistent issues maintaining a connection to the server. Connectivity challenges I previously encountered with actor moves. Um, okay, yeah. So this is more like an IT question to our IT team. Could the team consider increasing the server request timeout threshold, perhaps to 3 minutes, to allow for a more stable connection? You're talking Greek to me, Rainier, but
You really do have to have a strong internet connection. It does
yeah,
help. This is not something that if you have a weak access point, or if you're trying to do things through Wi-Fi and you don't have a direct Ethernet cable coming through your PC, you're probably going to run into that. And definitely, if that signal is not strong enough for it to maintain a processing sort of link, then you will get those errors.
yeah, good point. Not familiar with the technical language. I think every family has like, someone who's a nurse or someone who's like an IT professional and they always call on for medical or technical advice. I'm not one of those people. But thank you for the question, Rainer. Next question is from Donald. Have an existing pipeline that creates a series of image frames for ControlNet pose controls that work with that LoRa. Can this be used with AI Studio? What do you
That's
think?
interesting because we definitely and there's Max
Yep.
we definitely have some future topics that we're going to be going over in the webinars that are coming up that talk about ControlNet at length, and certainly what is the advantage of still using a 3D environment to inform your cameras, to inform your scenes, to block your characters, to block your props, to add things like lighting, maybe even physics or particles. And this is something that ControlNet really comes in handy for. And yeah, that is something that AI Studio will have some features that will be basically utilizing that same technology. Welcome back, though, Max. Maybe you can elaborate on that same question. If Kai, you want to repeat that for him.
Which one?
The last question. Max might have more information there.
Oh, I have an existing pipeline that creates a series of image frames for ControlNet pose controls that work with that LoRa. Can this be used with AI Studio?
Um, it should be. So hold on. So you have a series of image poses that you're using for ControlNet. Yeah, you could just drop those in as an image slot on any one of those image generators or edit tools, and it would do that. No problem.
Cool.
Um, just like in the 3D tab, like you can generate your image from your 3D scene, but it also won't stop you from uploading your own pre-existing image as well.
That's right.
I don't know. Yeah. The more references, the better.
Mhm.
Max, did you want to show anything more, or did you get
I'm gonna
stuff
see
up
if
and
it
running?
generated that video. I know we're kind of eating into the time here. I wanted to get that video to show you guys because like that was just kind of sad that it left us hanging right there at the point where we were about to have an amazing video. Um,
Evelyn says very cool fish tank, by the
oh, thank you.
way.
Yeah, they're a mess. I love the fish. Okay,
What
yeah, we might can I'm back up and running. Let me see if it'll start generating the video, and if it will, then I'll let you know. If not, we may just have to show that in the next one.
Okay, we'll do one more question in the meantime then.
Yeah.
Ali Reza, does AI Studio support consistency in environment? Imagine I have a carnival with a special carousel and lamp animation. I want my characters to act in camera animation to be on the carousel and camera environment, not a random environment. Yeah, very good question, Ali Reza. Ali Reza, Ali Reza. Anyways, that's one of the main benefits of AI Studio is the consistency in environment, because you can set up your environment, your 3D environment in iClone, and you can use that as your reference. So it's going to remain consistent regardless. It's the key benefit of this technology above and beyond anything that's available, right now. So yeah, to answer your question, it's fully supported. And that's one of the main benefits of AI Studio. Yeah. Okay, we'll go one more, Stephanie. Is using this considered AI art? The line seems a little blurry. Oh, that's a philosophical question. I think, 200 years in the future, people are going to be looking back at this era in our society and talking about it like, you know, Kant and Nietzsche talked about human life and everything like that. How
I
it's
don't think it's that deep. Basically,
speak for yourself.
seriously, I don't. It's a tool. It's a new paintbrush. It's it's what's next in basically editorial, and certainly video editing tools, being able to tell a story, being a visual storyteller. Period. Whether you're an animator or a videographer, this is how you articulate a medium, and it's just a new, faster, and in some cases a lot more visually stunning way to accomplish things that really you couldn't accomplish before without high-end studio support, huge budgets, a lot of VFX, and in some cases, things like scorpion cranes, or large camera apparatuses that would be somewhere around $300,000 to $500,000 per setup before lenses. So yeah, I think that AI is artistry. AI is a new form of artistry. And as somebody who used to airbrush in a mall in Kentucky, I know art. And this is definitely something that I'm going to be using as a storyteller, as a filmmaker, and as an animator moving forward, with art in mind the whole time.
Yeah, and I mean, I would say, you know, it, the creative process has basically just evolved in such a way with AI that you can do so many things. You can think about so many different looks or different outcomes to a story that you want to tell. And that's what it really comes down to at the end of the day, is that story. Is, are you able to quickly tell your stories that may have never been told without it? You pull those projects out that you're like, oh, I really wish I could finish this story or this story, and it just, that project never happens. But nowadays there's no excuses, because you can very quickly visualize it and very quickly bring it to life in ways that are so much faster than ever before. And in fact, I think it will empower a lot of people whose stories may have never been told because they didn't have the technical chops, or maybe just never had that time to dedicate 10,000 hours to 3D modeling. I mean, did the pain that we put into the cloth physics and the fine-tuned facial animation, did that really make it that much better as art, or is it just another part of the process and a tool? For me, I came at it from more of a like VFX standpoint, where I was already like using CG assets and working in layers and passes and doing multi-pass renders, and like we were already like ripping things to pieces and doing whatever we wanted with our scenes and with our final output in post. So for me, it was just like, oh, this is a much faster way that I can rotoscope this, or quickly change this element, or dial this lighting in to match my next scene, or oh my gosh, we forgot to do this one shot while we were on set, and our actors have already flown back to New Zealand. What are we going to do? Well, with AI, if we have the ability, we might be able to save an entire shoot day by filling in two or three shots that they needed for that particular production. And I think, I think the mindset of learning to use the medium and to create responsibly with AI and to, put that same kind of like hardcore tedious love into it and being able to, just highly critique it and analyze it to a point where the art tells the story you want. And if you want to just generate quick funny things, it's great for that too. Like dogs driving cars. That's always fun.
I encourage everyone to watch a movie called Good Luck, Have Fun, Don't Die. It's a indie movie that just came out recently. A very good one about AI.
Sam Rockwell.
I tend to have a more pessimistic view than a lot of my peers, but yeah. Anyways, we'll go on to the next question. James, how's the rendering still going on, I guess there? Or sorry, Max.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's going. I think it should be popping through. I did ask for a 15-second generation, so
yeah.
that's a
It's gonna take a
fairly
little bit. If it jumps to 90, then we've got a chance. But if it's hanging on 50, probably not.
I will say you don't need to generate 15-second videos. Like if you need a 5-second shot or a 6-second shot, don't generate a 15-second shot to do that because you're just gonna end up with a lot of fluff. Like sometimes I might overshoot something. Like if I'm going for a 6-second shot, I might run 7 or 8 seconds just to have a little bit of leader on the front and back. But your credits are going to be more efficient if you work at a lower range. It's a big difference between generating a 15-second clip and something that's say like 6 or 7. That's going to bring that price down a lot in terms of credit burn. And that's just something to be mindful of. When I first got in here and I started playing with the tool, I was like, oh, yeah, let's just make all the 15-second videos in the world. And I realized that it takes longer. It's a little bit more wasteful, but it is impressive to see a very dynamic, long 15-second shot of high quality action or dialogue or singing or whatever you want. And
All right,
it's,
so James,
yeah,
James or Max, why don't we just you can stop sharing your screen. We can just show our faces since we're basically just doing like a
it's
interpersonal kind of
coming.
Q&A right now. Oh, there
Yeah,
we
just
go.
jump to 90, but it'll
90%.
take a
Okay.
It's
second.
at 90. I believe it's gonna pop through. The servers must just be a little heavy right now. It's gonna come through.
Yeah, it is evening
And
here in
if
North America. Most people are at home on their computers, like, doo-doo-doo. Okay, we'll go to the next question.
there it
Anyways.
goes.
Oh, there you go. Okay, want to show that?
Yeah. Heck yeah, I've waited so long to show. All right, come on. Now don't do this to me. I will just open the folder. Okay, here we go. It's ready.
Road trips just hit different out here.
Oh, the door opened the wrong way, but we got one little boo-boo at the end, but pretty magical. I could still use the first 12 seconds of this for something pretty awesome. So
Road
Yeah.
trips just hit different out here.
right there. But really nice and fun, and that's where sometimes you get a little have to do a little extra. Oh, the cup did vanish. That is one, but
In all fairness, she is a blonde, so yeah. I'm
yeah.
just sorry to all the blondes out there.
But pretty fun and definitely that little, especially up to like about right here. I'd say that's oh, she changed
Road
hands
trips
with the
just hit
drink.
different out here.
Yeah, very
Yeah, Max,
usable and awesome footage, and
if you want to
nothing
jump
stopped.
over to the slide deck, we can also show them a little bit of weird wild science there here at the end because as you saw, Max was able to take that and generate with CDANS very quickly. Other ways to get that voice or that script is also able to be generated from the talking avatar tools, and you're able to take your prompts and also prompt your own dialogue, and then choose from a variety of different voices that you have available to you. If you just switch back over to the presentation, Max, there's a
I
slide
got you.
there where you can follow along and like and subscribe to a YouTube Shorts feature right now that has an AI actor where basically daily content is being released in 720 short form, and it's definitely made for the vertical. sort of viewing. So this is also very low cost AI. So where something like Sea Dance is going to be a little bit more costly to you. You can watch clips
I
like
am
this.
Professor Jürgen von Quark, and I was once the world's most celebrated and most heavily fined scientist. Now operating from my secret laboratory beneath an abandoned amusement park, I dedicate my life to investigating the strangest mysteries of science. My mission: to boldly investigate the strange, the impossible, and the scientifically ridiculous in the name of weird wild science. After the webinar, join me, won't you?
So feel free to follow along with that character and to see more AI actors that are short form and based, and just going from image to video to be able to get that result.
Okay, I'm going to continue on with the since we got like a whole bunch of open questions here. Guys, we probably won't be able to go to all these questions, just so you know. We already have 45 in queue right now. But the next question from, I might curate this a bit. Jamie asks, what about controlling your movement with mocap and the AI actor? Should you just mocap movement without doing facial animation at all when working with AI and just let AI do the animation of the face? James, I'll let you handle that one. You're the mocap guy.
I am the mocap guy, and essentially, yeah, you totally can inform the frame with your motion capture. One thing that's really awesome to do is to utilize the video mocap tools inside of iClone as well to generate that mocap very quickly and easily, and that can be done all the way up to 1 minute of motion capture performance for only 250 points, or the equivalent of $2.50. And essentially, um, it's very, very, very high quality, high fidelity motion capture. But let's just say you brought that in as an FBX or something else and brought that onto your character. Absolutely. And that goes back to that control net and being able to inform that frame with 3D assets. So this can be image, this can be 3D based. And certainly if it's 3D based and it's motion capture movement, you can get that and then prompt your facial animation over that, no problem. It's really a brave new world in that regard.
Yeah, agreed. I think that James said it all there. We'll go to the next question from DW. When we use AI Studio to create content like images or video, what is the usage license for that content? In other words, commercial usage or no? Very good question, DW, and I can respond to this myself. So whenever you're outputting just video or images from iClone or Character Creator, you're covered under standard usage license. Okay, so as long as you're not using, our software for things like machine learning, or you're not integrating, our content into your video game for distribution, then you're generally covered by, the general license. So if you have any questions about licensing, I'm in not in charge of that right now, but I'm one of the people in charge of that. Just email me, kai@reallusion.com. And licensing is kind of like my forte these days, it seems. So yeah, but generally what you're talking about, just generating images and videos, you're totally fine, even for commercial use under the general license. There's no need for additional licenses. We'll go to the next one from Ali Reza. Do I have limitations in my prompts in AI Studio? For example, using a gun character drinking alcohol or blood? Well, I guess vampires drink blood. That's pretty common. Um,
Um,
that
some
depends on the
things
LLM, right?
some things you can get away with. Like it's pretty okay with, but it really does depend on the LLM, like whether it allows that to do it or not. It does have NSFW filters on stuff though,
Yeah,
and some
yeah.
things. Some of the models do for sure.
Yeah, I was even very soft. Like I just put a bed in a scene. I had Camilla in a bed and I said, put Camilla in like a sensuous pose on the bed and whatever. Like just like just like some soap opera kind of stuff, right? And it was really ChatGPT was really conservative with it. I was surprised.
Yeah, they really were. I gave it a test yesterday because that was one of the questions I had in one of the old webinars. Is they were like, can it do this or that, or it was like a concern. But no, like all the safeguards are locked in place right now, so it's pretty
Yeah.
clean, safe space to get really creative with.
Yeah, they're there for a reason for sure. Yeah. It's not all like old fogies like us using the software,
Yeah.
right? All right. Question from Samuel. Do we get the slides after the session? Yeah, we can probably share the slides. You guys can just give your slides to the team. I don't think there's anything against that, right?
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah,
no. No
no,
Okay.
we're
problems
happy to
there.
share.
Yeah, we can share the slides with you guys after this. Samuel also asks, can we bring our own AI keys? Um, that I'm not
No.
sure. I don't think so. Yeah.
No, it's not set up where you can drop API keys in there. It's just all built in.
And also, does it support local LLMs? You're limited to the preset LLMs, am I right?
Yeah, that
Correct.
that I think that was something that was just like it kind of hit a point where a lot of the local LLMs just weren't quite keeping up with the cloud-based models, and really it was more about the distribution and just trying to get it into as many people's hands so that they could actually, utilize it without having to install all of the back-end stuff with Comfy UI, and it just became a lot to chase, and and I think that that's something that we've seen the product really refine over the past 6 months to a year is just in that implementation of these commercial models that are a little bit more refined and can produce a little bit more consistent expected results pretty much all the time for all users instead of just like that, that 5 to 10% of users out there that really know how to, push models like that at the local level. Um,
Yeah, and everyone keep in mind this is AI Studio 1.0. Like I'm
yeah,
not sure if y'all are old enough to remember like Windows 1.0, you know. uh, things develop, things change based on, customer demand and practicality. Just creating the most efficient and powerful workflows. So this is only the beginning. What we're demoing right here. This is like literally only the beginning, like a few weeks ago. So we're gonna get a lot better from here.
we did definitely keep some of those models around from that we played with Comfy a lot. So as you'll see, like in the video option models, we did keep around LTX 2.3. It's a great, really affordable option. The root and stem system that I think that is driving the talking avatars is currently, based off of like its original base came out of local LLM work. So,
Yeah, yeah.
a lot of these things stemmed from it, even if they, even if that's not what they are in their current form, like Flux Max 2, all the work that we did with Laura's with Flux, I think is, helped inspire, how the actor profiles work a little bit. And you know, that's where we were first seeing those like super high resolution, really realistic results. Even at a time where we couldn't walk and talk, we were getting beautiful images out of Flux even before it was Flux, 2 Max. So I think all of those things just have progressed and transitioned to more robust and refined tools to answer your creative solutions.
Absolutely, yeah, and it's only going up from here for sure. Okay. DW, quick question. Can the content we create using AI Studio, is that content stored in the cloud or locally? As far as I know, it's stored locally. I think
Yes.
that you need, yeah, nothing stored in the cloud. So, yeah, to answer that question definitively, DW, it's stored locally on your machine. Yeah, your iClone needs to access your machine to bring that stuff up in the history still too.
When you choose
Tom,
any image on the side of your screen from your history as well, you can go up to the top and just click the little folder icon, and
hmm,
that'll open up to the folder on to the location on your computer where it exists, and that'll have the input data with the prompts that you created, your original source images, your original images that you fed it to begin with to drive video, and then also those video results all in one location. So you can easily go back and reconfigure something or reimagine something that you previously made.
Yeah, that JSON's also in there, and you can also copy and paste out of that folder should you want to build an archive elsewhere of your favorites.
absolutely. Okay, I'm gonna
Oh,
okay, we'll go to the next one here. We'll just keep going, powering through these. There's gonna be a point where I'm gonna have to skip a bunch, but Thomas asks, can we buy more credits without going to the biggest package? So yeah, unfortunately, Thomas, right now the amounts of credits available are in those preset packages. That's just the way we've started it out. Just for ease of use for our sales team and our back end and stuff like that. So we have these packages of points. So I'm not sure. I can't give you a definitive answer on whether or not that will change in the near future, but that's the way it is right now. So apologies for that. So iClone is an app, a web or a website login. iClone's an app. It's a separate app. Yeah. That's from Stuart Montjoy, obviously
I've
a new
got
user.
I've got one more video for you if you want. I did the World Cup video for you
All
guys
right.
while we were waiting.
The world's coming to this city. You ready?
So that was just
I
a
like
little 10-second clip there. So
I like that
um,
subtle like look to the side at the end. Like, you ready? Like the subtle look to the side. That was
The
very
world's
interesting.
coming to this city. You ready?
yeah, super fun.
Like, it's just interesting to just throw that little subtle side look into the end there instead of just focusing on the camera. I thought that was this was Sea Dance, was it?
Yeah, sure was. Sure was C Dance 2.0, and that was just a 10-second render. Comes out a little quicker at 10 seconds. And like I said, I really think the sweet spot, when you first get in there, you want to render these really long videos, but save your credits, practice on 5 and 6 second clips, and just like,
Yeah.
go into it with a goal for what you want to make, and be pretty deliberate. And I think you'll usually get what you want, especially even if you have to do one or two generations or change your prompt just a little bit to refine it to get exactly what you want. I think that's really, where just getting in there and churning some images, churning some videos, you'll start to quickly dial in your process.
Cool. All right, we'll go to the next one from Philippe. Is it possible to use Cling credits with AI Studio? No, I don't believe so. Sorry for that, Philippe. They have to be purchased through the Reallusion store. Juan Carlos Bejarano Hernandez. I love how four names. Uh, what about the outfit? If I updated the outfit, would it be the same character, or I have to make another character and change the outfit? Yeah, good question, Juan. Max kind of demonstrated that when he switched the characters to the 70s style outfits. They were the exact same characters. Again, those profiles are essential because they keep the characters' looks consistent, absolutely consistent. So that's one huge problem that AI image generation has is consistency, right? So this AI Studio tool provides that consistency. You can put them in, I don't know, like German, uh, what's the
Later.
kind of word, the Von Trapp family. What do they wear? How would you describe that that type of clothing?
Later.
That's just Lederhosen, sure. That's just the first thing that came to mind for me. I don't know why, but yeah, you could even throw that on them as well. They're in Lederhosen on a trip through the southern states. Who knows? There's crazier things that have happened. Andres Moya asks, how would be the workflow, for example, if you wanted to promote a product on a character? How can we keep the consistency of the product? So I see there's a lot of questions about consistency, and I want to reassure everyone right now that AI Studio is on the forefront of tools that offer consistency for your AI renders. And that's, again, I've emphasized this a few times in this webinar. That is the main appeal for AI Studio is the consistency, your ability to create those profiles, your ability to import your 3D scenes from iClone and keep all the background elements and everything consistent. Very important.
You
Uh,
can really
sorry, go
you
ahead.
can really do that straight. Like if you have like your own product that AI doesn't really understand exactly what it is, like it knows what a can of Coca-Cola is, it knows what a pair of Nike tennis shoes is, like no problem. But let's say I have my own custom product that I've made and my own branding that it needs to respect. Well, that's something where, I might just even go straight to the edit tab to start out with and just include my actor model, just the same way you would on the create tab, but then also add in an image of your product for one of the second elements there. And then you can basically just run custom your prompt the same way you would in create. And that'll allow you to bring in those products that don't really like exist or, that the AI may not know exactly what it looks like yet.
Yeah, and you can have multiple angles of that too. So if you had, say, a book that you needed a character to be reading and it needed to know what the front and back of that book looked like, you can generate those images, feed those in, and make sure that that consistency doesn't just stop at characters or scenes, but also carries through to your props and interaction. Because anything that a character comes into contact with is going to have that continuity. And that's going to be something that creative interests are going to be looking for directors and producers and people that are going to be implementing these tools at a higher level. So certainly, don't just stop with characters or what you want the background to look like. Really think through it at a tactile level for all of the assets in the scene.
Gotcha. All right, we got a question from Christian Morris here. Stuck on 3D, good old Christian.
Hey,
Does your chat GPT have any settings, pre-training parameters to create the prompts, just as you are a famous director and expert DP using only professional cameras, etc.? Maybe James, you want to take that one?
yeah, we absolutely have utilized ChatGPT in a variety of ways, but certainly you do want to say if you're going for hyper realistic looks or you want something like an Ari Alexa or a Cook lens, you definitely want to add that into that prompt strategy. And you definitely can mimic other looks and certainly shooting styles. So sometimes it does not like if you're utilizing, say, Scorsese or Spielberg or some name dropping like that, but you definitely can replicate styles, and that is something that we don't have our chats properly trained for right now. But Max and I do input a lot of cinematic terminology in between being obviously academics that are teaching game design, 3D animation, motion capture, all these things. So our chat gets a pretty healthy dose of production vernacular. So it definitely has its own voice where it comes back as a filmmaker. But Max has trained his through aggression mostly.
Abuse. It's kind of terrible. Um,
All right,
but
I got a good question from Jamie here that I think a lot of people want to know the answer to. A question about image generation. Can we place our characters in 3D, for example, in iClone, and use that to control where the characters are standing instead of relying on just prompts to place the characters? So that's a really
Absolutely.
good question. I think that's a very basic question that needs to be said. Yeah.
Yeah, and we'll definitely be focused on that moving forward. Again, webinar one, we're AI actors, and certainly consistency is part of the overall kind of theme that we're going here with in terms of the features that we're focusing on. But yes, unresounding yes, and we'll be deep diving into that and how to utilize iClone is really a control step and a point where you can implement blocking for characters, props, certainly a lot of those assets that you also have available to you. And this doesn't just start and stop with Actor Core. Certainly, in that deep search tool that you have inside of iClone, there are previs folders that are built for use with AI Studio. So stay tuned for that.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, we're like I said, guys, we're going to have two more webinars that are going to go into more detail on this. This was just the basic to kind of show you the basics, and we're going to go into a lot more detail in later webinars here. Um, so let's see here. We got a lot of questions from some very inquisitive fellows here. Uh, okay, so could we create a character just from the iClone renders? The prompt ID asking for the style anyways, so does that work? Um, yes, you can. You guys have probably done that yourselves as well, just from the
yes,
without even creating a profile, you just have the characters.
in
Sure.
fact, sometimes sometimes when I'm using character like the character straight out of iClone, I won't always pair an actor profile with them because it influences it a little bit too much.
Hmm.
Like I'll kind of choose one or the other sometimes, and that's not always the case. Sometimes it pairs well with the actor profile and the CG scene, but really like if you're using mannequins, then you definitely want to use the eye model. But if you're going to you already have a fully built, beautiful scene, then you probably mostly need to drive it with prompt and precision with your animation. Because that is one thing, when you do start going from 3D scenes, you want to make sure that your motion's pretty smooth and pretty decent quality because it's very good at translating that at a pretty high
Absolutely.
level of accuracy. So,
Yeah.
um,
Yeah. That question was from Thomas, by the way. Another Thomas question. He has some good questions. So, a good question from Marcus here. Along this with CC characters, can I also import the scenario and the camera from iClone to guide the image generation? So,
Absolutely.
yeah, the, yeah,
Yeah,
we want to speak to that
composition
more to
key.
that, James. Yeah.
Sure. Yeah. Absolutely. Again, iClone's giving you that next layer of level of control. So before you really hit that slot machine of iteration, um, this offers you a way to compose your shot, to really utilize both the film back, which is nice because if you're doing tech viz, you can actually say, "Hey, I want an Area Alexa film back sensor paired with a 35 millimeter lens or a 20 millimeter lens or even a strange ratio like 28 millimeter. You can have that, and then that's going to compose your shot in a very specific aspect ratio, and that is a high level of control. But the beautiful part about that is, and I come from a film industry background, and also Max and I worked on AAA productions in our time with actor capture. And certainly, when we work with DPs and we work with people who know that they can actually recreate that exact composition by bringing that sensor and that lens package on the set, that's it's very alluring because that becomes previs that's very usable. Certainly, that kind of previs becomes shot bibles in some cases, so it can be leaned on very heavily through the duration of a very expensive production. So, if you can utilize AI Studio and iClone in the blocking of that, and also that camera composition, then I think you're very effective as a virtual cinematographer.
Yeah, absolutely. That's something we didn't really touch on is the camera composition that it adds that additional element of control to your shot, the consistency as well. Like anything from depth of field to focal length and all that stuff as well. That those remain consistent. So that's excellent.
Mhm.
Excellent levels of control. Okay, so all right, why don't we go to the end of the hour and then we'll call it quits because we still got another 36 questions to answer. Um, I've gone two more than 2 hours in the past, but I think we'll cut it off at two. Just there's so much interest, but I hope you guys come back for the next webinars that Max and James are going to be co-hosting later this month and early next month. Let me just try and find something that looks people might be really interested in. Um, can James asks, can AI Studio output for professional grade ad and film production? And what are the hardware requirements for the software? So I think James, yeah, no doubt, this is like professional grade output. This is um, I was browsing Reddit the other day and I saw they had this. I forget which airport it was. Maybe it's somewhere in the States, but anyways, they had this huge, massive American Airlines like mural. I'm talking like this thing was like 20 feet by like 10 feet, just huge mural. And you could tell it was generated by AI because it was just like interior shot of the airport and all the check-in counters, all the words were like scrambled. And then there's people with like a sec like a sixth finger and stuff like that. And this is the kind of stuff that they're putting in 20 by 10-foot murals in airports for Pete's sake. Like uh, anyone in this webinar can probably do better uh, with AI Studio. So if you want to get like your 20 by 10-foot mural put up in an airport and get paid $1 million for it, AI Studio is going to be a lot more accurate than what that was. And that was just I wish I had the link somewhere I could put it in the chat, but man, it was pretty brutal that they approved that. Um, that was in response to James's question about can the AI Studio AI Studio produce professional grade output? Yeah, it can. 100%. Hardware requirements, NVIDIA card, get at least a 4000 series, would be my advice. Um, I know there's new ones coming out, but yeah, I have a 4070 on my laptop here, and it works fine for me. So even with AI Studio production. Okay. Okay. Carlos asks a good question. Can we use original audio or an iClone created lip sync video with AI Studio? Yeah, absolutely you can, Carlos. That would be like in post-production though. When you're assembling your shots in something like Adobe Premiere. Um,
You,
do you it doesn't produce audio within AI Studio, does it?
no, it does. It does. In the talking avatar tab, you can generate your own audio based off of a audio voice sample, but
Oh yeah.
that's also transforming a bit with the new addition of the AI elements because that'll allow you to directly add your audio clips essentially to, straight to Cdance.
Yeah, and also
Um,
that camera composition, right? If you're leaning on it to really be driven by that face rig, really having that in more of a medium or close-up shot, like what you see here with our cameras, versus like what you see on Max's screen right now, where Camilla's more in a medium. You really want to try to fill up as much of that screen real estate with that face, if you're leaning on it for ControlNet or coming from that 3D asset.
and so you can see this is just using a straight mannequin pose out of a iClone and Camilla's actor profile and then a prompt of her on stage, but it'll, it's gonna, it can use your pose like absolutely no problem. Same thing with animation. Like if this was an animated clip, I could render that to video and it would follow whatever that animation pass was as well. Um,
Yeah, absolutely. Consistency right there.
Yeah.
but that was
Um,
one of the things I wanted to show you, but straight from 3D, very easy. So.
all right, I wanted to get to a couple of questions here from Sebastian since he had we're taking questions from an hour ago at this point already. Um, Question one, do you have local run models available? Um, I'm
No.
not sure. No, I don't think that we have that. May need a bit more context there as well, Sebastian. Um, Question two is a good one though. Can I import my own background as 3D files as reference and then capitalize on the actor persistent?
For sure.
Uh,
And that's
yeah,
something that you can do both with just a simple image or with a 3D asset. So in some cases, you would be surprised how effective just bringing an image into the background and then letting that inform your frame visually will also give you a very, very awesome result. So it's pretty low hanging fruit.
yeah. If you have James said, if you have like even just an image, even like a low resolution image, at least the AI can take and extrapolate data from that and give you something usable. Um, okay, the question about tokens. I think we've talked about tokens already. Can handle video to video enhancements. So I actually just did a video or webinar last week or 2 weeks ago about taking a 260 by 260 pixel image of myself and enhancing it using Headshot 3's AI image enhancement. Um, AI Studio handling video to video enhancement, like making a created animation into a better, more photorealistic video. Have you guys ever messed around with that? I don't think I have.
You can feed video to like you can feed a video source. It just it's mostly designed for you to kind of design your own video source, like your own video source through the 3D engine itself. But
Have you tried like enhancing the quality or the resolution or anything like of the video though? Because I've never
there's
tried that.
definitely like upscale features and
Yeah.
things like that. And then, you know, I believe actually on the edit tab here. No, that's just for swapping actors. I think there's something where you can upres it to trying to remember. Oh yeah, you can go. No, where is it at? Well, maybe it's not up there right now. But if not, worst case scenario, always run it through Topaz Lab. I run everything through Topaz Lab like religiously.
All right, fair enough. I'm gonna go for maybe two or three more questions here, and then we'll call it a night. Question from Sim. Any plans to bring your own API connection feature? Good question, Sim. I think that's a very strong possibility. We've had, I personally, I take care of a lot of enterprise licensing at Reillusion, and we've had strong demand for APIs for our applications recently. Very strong demand. So I think this is something if there's a demand for it, we can develop it. But again, our resources are focused on just keeping up with AI technology these days. So, but like I said, if there's demand for it, and we are going to have a survey at the end of today's webinar. If there's any features that you want to see in iClone or any topics you want to hear about in the future, fill those out in the survey, and then also get your 10% discount at the content store as well. And then the second part of Sim's question was, can video and image be used for commercials? Absolutely. Like I said, as long as you're just using video and image output, you're covered under the standard license. There's no need for anything else. We'll go on to, let's see, you got 3 minutes left here. Oh man, there's all people saved all the technical questions for the end. So these are I should have looked into these first. Um, okay, some of them are comments. There's just so many guys, sorry. Um, okay, and again, these images generated, there's no requirement. I see a few people asking about the licensing restrictions. There's no requirement as long as you're just distributing the image, or as long as you're just outputting image or video, for whatever purpose, you're covered under standard usage license. But when you're talking about embedding it in your video game or your application, or for machine learning purposes, or you want to lease our API, these are enterprise license areas that you can contact me directly about. Um, I think that covers like five of the questions in one. Just browsing through them here. All right. Yeah, I think a lot of these questions are very, very similar in scope. So I think, most people probably have a lot of their stuff answered already. Um, yeah, I think, like I said, guys, we're going to have another webinar later this month. Check back on the webinar page and for updates on the latest dates. It's going to be your homies here, James, Max, and I, um, representing the West Coast here in Vancouver, Canada. I know you guys are
Mm.
over in the East, but yeah, lovely to have you guys all along with us today. I know this is a kind of like a marathon webinar for everyone. Anything you guys want to say in closing, James or Max?
Yeah, just be sure that you follow up with the other webinars that we're going to be hosting here because we are going to be covering cameras, character, placement, other tools and techniques with AI Studio, and certainly we'll probably cover some ground that we didn't go over today and probably answer some of the questions that you may have had concerning those other feature sets. But also, you can follow us at actorcapture.com with what we do professionally. Both I'm a technical director, Max is our CTO, and we do utilize these tools in the field. We are not just academics and talking heads. We definitely take this into production and really try to keep our ear to the ground and listen for those digital buffalo as they come. So if you have any questions for us, you can feel free to reach out at James at actorcapture.com to me, or Max at actorcapture.com for Max. And thanks for everybody for watching today, and we look forward to seeing you at the next webinar.
Right on. How
Yeah,
about you,
thank you
Max?
so much. It's was really a whole lot of fun today. Had a couple little crashes, but we got some awesome stuff through anyways, and really looking forward to the next one where we're going to start diving into wielding multiple characters to tell a little bit more complex stories and diving into some advanced commercial content and showing you how to take those custom products and bring them in and integrate it and just really quickly tell cool stories with AI Studio. So super excited um, to see what you guys create, dive in and you know, make something.
Right on. And again, apologies to so many people. There's 32 people that didn't get their questions answered. That's probably a record for webinars. But we did go, we just limited normally to 20 minutes, but we went over like to an hour now. So yeah, but lovely to have you guys here. Thank you so much for attending, and I hope you learned a lot from the team here. Keep a lookout for all the new webinar dates and fill out that survey and get the 10% discount for the content store, and you'll get your 500 complimentary AI generation points as well. So I'll say good evening, good morning, good night, wherever you are in the world. Thanks again, James and Max, for being along for the ride, and we'll see you guys in a bit then.
Oh yeah.
All right, take care,
Thank you
everyone.
guys.
Bye bye.
Bye bye.